I was trying to make sure that maybe we can continue briefly with the discussion, so that we can take some of the questions that many people may have um, regarding this issue, or people can raise some comments and then be able to talk about it. I also wanted us to talk briefly, but I tried to call Undlo and she wasn't picking up. So I wanted to invite her to come on the live so that we can continue the conversation, because I feel like this conversation is very important, that it cannot also be just undermined as something that is frivolous or unimportant. Sometimes we tend to look at the abuse when people are injured, or when someone is dead already. Then we start saying, oh, there was abuse. We don't look at abuse at the inception level, at the level where we can prevent it. It's very important that we look at the abuse at the level that we can prevent it. Especially females have been succumbed to so many forms of abuse in a most unfair way. So we had a discussion right now on Inanda FM, which is based in South Africa. We are talking about abuse of women who are plus size. There's something I just want to share with you, which one of the doctors I found, that his comment on my LinkedIn page, I found it to be to be a red flag when I was listening to him speak and ask me questions. I want to read this element. I want to read what this doctor said to me when I posted the post that talk about hi Spelele. Oh, niyacasha phela manje ku Facebook nibize ngamanye amagama. Oh, uyabatega. Okay. So you know the issue of being a plus size. Even the word plus size makes me very uncomfortable. Even the fact that we are using the word plus size, because we are already discriminating according to the size. And I apologize that I got cut off earlier on. I got cut off briefly because we were on the live and then we ended on the station and coming back to you. Right now in the US, in New York, it's 5 a.m. So being 5 a.m., it still gives me enough time to chat briefly, but I will have to go because it's the beginning of the day. So I posted this post on my LinkedIn page, the flyer. The flyer says, I'm just going to read it to you: stop emotional and psychological abuse against plus size women. Then a medical doctor who is a pathologist, he's named as GPG. He says Health Department Forensic Pathology Service. He says, are you trying to propagate the idea that obesity is okay? First of all, he didn't even read the flyer, which says stop emotional abuse and psychological abuse against plus size women. His first response is, are you trying to propagate the idea of obesity that it's okay? This is a medical doctor. If a medical doctor speaks like this at the community level where we want to stop abuse, and he is still using the same attitude, or that is abusive, it really was worrying me. He says, because you don't mention the word obesity, the fact that you don't mention the word obesity actually, but that's what stands up for your statement. There was no statement. It's a flyer that says stop abuse. And then he continues saying, why are we dedicated? Why they dedicated clothing shops for bigger built or plus size people? Where would you place them? On the abusive or on the reality side? I think that such shops are representing reality and appear to be needed. Don't you think so? So I responded to him that it helps to read, because I felt like he is implying that by us asking the community to stop abusing women who are plus size, same thing as asking the community to stop abusing women or black women or people who are poor or people who are uneducated. The society likes to do that. We like to abuse people at their stand of weakness, or at their stand of who they are, that they cannot change. There are people who are born, because obesity that he's talking about, as a doctor, he should know that obesity is hereditary. Some people are born with a plus size body from birth because their parents were plus size body. So now if you're gonna go and make fun of them, ubabize ngezidudla, usho ukuthi badla kakhulu, wazi ngani ukuthi umuntu ukudla lokho kumenza ukuthi akhuluphale? Yilento mina engifuna ukuyigcizelela ukuthi akona ukudla kuphela okwenza umuntu akhuluphale. And isociety iyathanda ukuthi yenze ngathi abantu abawo plus size ngoba bayabofela nje badla ukudla. Akunjalo. It's not because people have an overweight or a bigger structure just because they are eating. There are many other challenges that they may be faced with. It could be hereditary, they could be on medication, they could be on many other things. But sometimes we as doctors tend to judge people. Sometimes I sense this idea from this guy that he's trying to be judgmental of people with a bigger size, as they are obese, and he says, are you trying to propagate that the idea of obesity is okay? I'm not propagating the idea that obesity is okay, but also I'm not propagating the idea that you, because you are slim, you have a figure and curves, then you should judge people who are full figure and full body. That is just so unfair, that because God blessed you, I have a small body naturally. My family, though, are big, and my family are all, my aunts are plus size with diabetes, with hypertension in my family. But I don't go out judging other people because of their weight. And the fact that I, as a doctor, am supporting the prevention of abuse of women who are plus size does not mean that we are supporting obesity or overweight or unhealthy living, unhealthy lifestyle. People can still be healthy and still be plus size or bigger, because some of the problems are hormonal problems. Some of the problems are maybe behavior related. It could be medication they are taking. So next time you meet someone who has a bigger structure, after listening to this conversation, I'm begging you to think broader, that maybe something can be happening, or maybe nothing is happening. It's okay for you to be yourself, because this is the reason why we are faced with people who are depressed, because the society is judging. I was judged for being black at Albert Lutuli, at Grace Hospital where I was working. I was judged every day, called names for being black. Do you think it's nice? It's not nice. And I don't like to see other people being judged for them being a certain body weight. My son has a certain body weight. He's able to lose weight, but he gains weight because in his family there's a bigger weight. My aunts are bigger figure, but I gained weight too when after my baby. After my son, I put on a lot of weight. I remember when we were doing a rotation at RKCon in my third year medical school. That was the year when I was going through divorce. I was overweight. I was weighing 98 kilograms at that time. Then I remember jumping into a scale and then looked at the weight, and I was shocked because I never thought from 70 something, I was 72 kgs all the way to 98 kgs. It was a drastic change. It was a drastic gain of weight for me, but because I was going through many problems. And over and above that, I also was shedding the weight from my son, and also just my only living, the problems I was facing, going through divorce, made me put on weight. Because I was not eating right. I was crying all the time. I was trying to find myself, figure myself. Imagine if then I meet my friends, they're like, oh, you've put on so much weight, look at you. You are enough the way you are beautiful the way you are, but improve with your doctor. First line is to go to your doctor and do your thyroid test. The thyroid test is a test that checks your metabolism. It determines, is your body working well to digest, to degrade the byproducts of the food that you ingest. Some people cannot, their metabolism doesn't work. So if your metabolism don't work, even if you don't eat, you still gain weight because your body don't work the food you put in. So the thyroid hormone is very important to go and check if you find that your weight is high. Also know how to calculate your body mass index. Your body mass index is your height and your weight. But I just want to emphasize that you are beautiful. Whatever you are doing, you are improving your health, not for people to look at you and like you or accept you, but you are improving your health for you to live longer, because people who are overweight may die of certain diseases like hypertension, diabetes. We see a lot of people not healing sometimes when they have wound injuries. We've seen a lot of diseases like heart disease being associated with a certain higher weight when your body cannot be able to manage the weight. Sometimes there's breathing problems when people cannot even breathe because the weight is compressing on your breathing. Where someone who may be able trying to walk cannot walk properly up the stairs. But there are people who are plus size and can walk, can run, can do everything, and their body is working at that level. But they still have to work out, exercise. All of us eat healthy. Don't eat junk food. We eat fruits and vegetables. We have to try by all means to make sure that our lives are running at the healthy level. You're tagging. Some facts requires such brave people like you, doctor. Thanks again to be able to tackle such and insist. The reason why I talk about abuse, I appreciate your comment, Intle. The reason why I'm taking on the issue of abuse is because I have suffered abuse myself as a doctor. So it's very difficult at my level to ignore what I've gone through. And remember that my abuse came from doctors. Don't forget that. And from my family. I was forced in marriage at 17. I cannot keep quiet about that. And I was told I'm a monkey, called all sorts of names by doctors who were oncologists. Who are your doctors? Treating you every day. They were racist. Haters. So I cannot say because we are doctors, we don't abuse. And I cannot say because we are doctors, we are not abused. So it's very important for us to speak on these issues. There is no medical specialist that is excluded in talking about issues of abuse. And if we keep quiet as doctors and don't speak about these issues, then how can the community deal with these issues alone? Imagine if I was not available for this talk. Ntlo, who's done a great job in organizing this talk, would have had to deal with this issue alone, as well as Bongi, who is a plus-size model, will have to deal with this issue alone. I don't think it's fair that when a person walks in the room and they are plus size, then we start laughing at them. So I just said to this doctor, it helps to read, because I was saying he needs to read. Then he went on saying, something else. Then, he said, that's right, it does help. Never stop. But when you're right, or before you think, it's better option. I don't know what does that mean. It just sounds like, so I don't even think that this person is a doctor, but the way he's speaking. But you find some doctors who are not even intelligent when it comes to real issues of life. And then he continues, if you go to my LinkedIn page, you'll see this. Then I said, how many abused women have you helped? Do you think abuse is normal and okay in our society? Because I wanted to ask. His response was, I won't entertain your question, like it or not. I'm a forensic pathologist, player, not wondering how to gain popularity, but you seem that you seem in that business. Then if you think it's okay for you, you do as you pleased. I asked you a simple question which didn't signify with an answer. Hence, why do you think that I should, but you don't? I don't know what does it mean. This is a guy who says he's a doctor, and my simple question is, how many women have you helped who have had a problem of abuse? And if you can't answer that question, I have a problem as a doctor. The fact that you're a pathologist does not exclude you from the society where we're facing abuse of women and women are dying. I just believe that women are dying so much because we ignore them. We don't talk about them. And we find that if a doctor is speaking on these issues, it's precluded in different way. At the end of the day, we're not keeping quiet because we find that in our population, women are being abused every day. I was abused. And if you tell me to keep quiet, then you have a problem. You don't want to hear women speak up on issues of abuse. If you tell me not to talk about my story, that on its own is breaching the human rights of being able to have a freedom of speech and talking about the issues. And people tend to confuse issues. When you are facing abuse personally, it's your personal experience, and they have no idea how it feels within that you want to go out there and change other people's lives and help others. Because if you don't, you still meet the people who are complaining of abuse, even these people who are acting like they are secluded from the community. They see you crying and they walk away. It's not that they don't see it. Some of us are silent about the abuses that we see in our community. You see a woman suffering in your workplace, then you choose to make excuses and call her certain names, call her lazy, call her coming late at work. If a woman can't sit in for exam, she didn't study, you tell her she's lazy, she doesn't do the job, because we ignore the issues that women are facing in the workplace. Some women who are bigger size are being abused by their own bosses. Some are not even taken for job interviews when they apply for jobs. And that on its own is an unfair discrimination. Because the fact that I am plus size, it does not mean I'm not human being. And I appreciate the industry for starting to accommodate the plus size women as they are. Because when we start as a society to accept ourselves as black as we are, as poor as we are, and we improve from that level, and as plus size as we are, and we improve on the health level, we improve on communication level, we improve on human rights level, we will be able to solve a lot of challenges rather than discrediting people just because they're black, just because they are young, or just because they are old, or just because they earn less, or because they are plus size, or because they are very slim. Because some of the plus size people too are laughing at the thin people. Sometimes they laugh among each other, on each other. If you think this topic is gaining popularity, you have a problem. You may be the person who is an abuser, or you may be a person who just don't care about other people and the challenges that they're facing. But at the end of the day, it's very important that we take care of our health, we exercise. We all have to exercise, whether you're size 1 or size 12 or bigger than that. We all have to exercise, eat healthy living, and healthy lifestyle. If you are abusing people to make yourself feel better, you're miserable. And there's nothing we can do about your misery. You need to deal with your own insecurities that makes you demean others for you to rise. Some people want to reduce others in order to rise. You cannot be at that level of life where you are looking up at people and looking down on people for you to be recognized as